Welcome back to App Development with Python. In this class, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about project creation and installation of Kivy. In this class, we are going to be using PyCharm, and most of the classes we are also going to be using PyCharm because it is going to be a lot more easier than using any different IDE. And I'm also going to be showing you step-by-step method of how you're going to install Kivy on Python files. And I'm also going to be showing you how you can fix up an error when you are trying to install Kivy, and which is also one of the most common errors which most of the time appears up. So without any further ado, let's hop onto our class by opening up any IDE such as PyCharm on our device. As you can see on my screen, I have opened up PyCharm. You can also try using VS Code on your desktop or whichever OS you're using. Now, the first thing what you have to do is create yourself a new project. So click on New Project and then wait until this interface opens up. Now over here, what you're basically going to do is put in a slash like this and put in Kivy underscore, or let's say the dash, and then put in, let's say, open Kivy. Okay, so this is going to be my name. And then what you're going to basically do is go off the Python version and make sure you are using the latest version available. So I am using Python 3.12. So there we go. We can see 3.12 over here. If you want to change it, basically you have to search for it in the file. But if you already have the Python, the language downloaded on your device, just like I've shown you in my previous classes, then it will already detect up the version. Just try using version 3, not any version below that. Okay. So after that, what you're going to basically do is going to be keep the name same. You can keep the name same. That's totally fine. And after that, just press on create. After you press on create, you will basically see something like this will open up. But yet you can see the console has not been opened, but we have to create it ourselves. So when you see basically this file opened up, right over here, right click on this and then click on this new option and click on Python file. And on the Python file, just name it, let's say main.py. So the .py is going to be the extension for Python codes. So I'm going to keep it main.py and hit on enter. And after I hit on main.py, it will already detect up that this is Python. Okay. So right over here, you can also make it up on the venv file, which is basically the library root. But over here, what you're going to basically do is going to be putting up nothing on this console, but instead go off to this button over here and open up terminal. So you can see terminal has been opened up. And another thing which you're going to check over here is that make sure that the Python version is detected. You can see 3.12 has been selected already as my interpreter. So over here, you're going to search in or type in Python space dash and then type in version. Okay, then hit on enter and you will basically see the Python version has been selected. Now, if you're using VS Code, you will be able to change it up anytime you want, but you can also add yourself up a new interpreter right over here when you are using PyCharm. It is that easy. Now, the next thing what you're going to basically do is going to be downloading up PyCharm, like Kivy on your PyCharm or on your Python file. So for that, what you're going to basically do is take your console over here and then type in pip install Kivy. So pip space install Kivy. This is what you're going to type, and then you're going to hit on enter. And then after you hit on enter, you will basically see this is how it will look like, and it will just keep on going until this bar appears up. For that, it's going to show you how much of it is being downloaded. And also make sure that you are connected to the internet whenever you are installing Kivy, because you can see there are a couple of data which needs to be downloaded from the online. Okay, so just wait for a bit until all of them has been downloaded. And another thing you have to keep in mind, you have to put the same commands just like I did it. Make sure to put in Python space dash dash and then version pip dash install dash Kivy. Okay, Kivy. And you can see installation has been already done. And you can see new release of PIP is available, which is 24.141.2. But I would suggest you stay on the same version or stay on this version of Kivy because it's going to be a lot more optimized. Because if you try using the newer version, then I would suggest you try using PyCharm Professional, because as this is, let's say, the community version, it's not going to have all the features it needs to work with Kivy and other GUI libraries. Okay, so make sure to keep those things in mind. And after the whole thing has been done, then we can start off putting our own code. Okay, so to put in our own code, we're going to basically do is going to go off to our console. So when we are off to our console, here, I'm going to put in a couple of spaces. Let's start off from the third line or the second line. Now here, I'm going to put in, let's say, the class, put in a space, and then you have to put in the name of the app. So the name of the app is, let's say, the Kivy, let's say, Kivy app. This is going to be the name. And open up, let's say, I'm going to open up the parentheses. And inside of the parentheses, what I'm going to do is going to be putting in app. Okay, so there we go. We have our app opened up. And we're going to do is going to be putting in a colon. And now inside of the colon, what we're going to do is going to be making more space over here. Let's just say I'm going to go off of my first one. I'm going to put in from, let's say I'm going to put in Kivy.app. And you can only put this Kivy.app if you have Kivy downloaded. Okay, so make sure to keep that thing in mind. And I'm going to put in import. And I'm going to put in, let's say, app. Okay, so there we go. We have our app ready. Or let's say we have the structure almost ready. So here I'm going to put in pass. And now you're going to put in a couple of spaces of this line. And then you're going to put in a couple of other commands to run, so that I get the whole structure of it. Okay, so now I'm going to put in the same one. Let's say the Kivy app. So I'm going to put in the Kivy app and then open up the parentheses and then make sure to put in nothing, but you're going to put in dot and then run command or the run function to run up the whole thing. Okay, so you can see the Kivy app, which is basically this one. And then we have our parentheses. And we also have run over here, which is going to help us run the whole command. Okay, so if it still doesn't run, what you're going to basically do is going to be installing up the whole thing. But as we are on Python, let's just try playing it. And when we basically try playing it, you will basically see the Kivy app has now been opened up. And this is showing us a blank screen. Now, why is it showing us a blank screen? It's because we don't have any data inside of it. Because if we did have any specific data inside of it, it would have shown us something like, any data if we wanted to print anything. Now, I'm also going to be showing you about the installation and also how you're going to put in a widget. Okay, that is going to be, let's say, the most basic, and it's going to be very simple for you, but just make sure that these things pop up because it's also going to show you that if the Kivy is downloaded and installed, and it's also going to show you if it has been successfully imported to the version of Kivy and Python which you are using. Okay, so now what we're going to do is going to be putting in a widget. So when we want to put in a widget inside of this app which we have created right now, or the console which we have created right now, so I'm going to start off putting in more command. Let's say from this specific app. So from Kivy dot, let's say, UIX and then dot widget, because we are going to be using the widgets because we are using GUI, which is our Kivy. Okay, so here I'm going to put in widget, and here I'm going to put in imports. Let's say, obviously, I'm going to put in my widget as my variable. So there we go. We have widget as our variable, and then move up or move down a couple of lines. Let's say I'm going to go off over here. We have one usage of it over here. And now I'm going to put in, let's say, class, and then put in, let's say, the main widget is going to be, open the parentheses. I'm going to put in, let's say, widget inside of it. There we go. And then put in a colon. Okay. So after that, you're also going to pass it up to the next command. Now, after I pass it up to the next command, you're also going to do is going to be naming a new file, which is going to help you to understand the lab, or let's say the KV file. Okay. So one thing you're going to do is that just go off to, let's say, the venv file, which you will find out right over here. And you're going to right click on it. And then you're going to open up another Python file. So in the name of the Python file, what you're going to do is going to put in, let's say, I'm going to put in the Kivy app, which is basically this one. And you're going to do is going to be basically Kivy app.kv, which is going to run our Kivy file. Hit on enter. And there we go. We have our Kivy file opened up. But yet you can see we have opened up a py file. So I'm going to right click on this again and make sure to turn this into a kv file. Okay. So if you still can't see that how it is working, then you basically have to change it up. So let's just try removing that again. Right click on it and then you can delete it. So I'm going to click on delete. Okay. And you're obviously going to just return up the whole thing. So here on venv file, click on new again and click on file. And then over here, you're going to run, let's say, the same thing, the Kivy app.kv, hit on enter. And there we go. We have our Kivy file totally opened up. So I'm going to just reduce up the size of this. And here as my text file, I'm going to do is going to bypass the whole thing on my widget. Okay. So first things first is that keep all the consoles and all the commands same, because we are going to just import it or bypass it to this file. Okay. You can see Kivy app.kv and you're going to pass it up and make sure that all of these things which you have already put in are the same. Okay. So now what you're going to basically do is just open up this Kivy app.kv. And over here, you're going to pass up the whole thing as the same command. Okay. So here we have used in, let's say, the main widget. Okay. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to take it over here, paste it, main widget. Okay. Inside the main widget, what you're going to basically do is going to run up the class and the pass command inside of this file. Okay. Which is going to basically help you to bypass everything what you are making onto this console. So if I just play it, you'll basically see there will be basically blank file. Okay, so you can see everything will be blank. But if I customize this text file, it's going to be represented on this console. Okay, but you can see that this specific main widget file is being edited right over here. Okay, so in my next class, I'm going to show you the layouts of the lab, because there's going to be a bit of complexity, because everyone or anyone who is new to Kivy, it's going to be a bit more confusing. So I would suggest you, and I would also try making individual classes, because it will help you a lot instead of showing all of those things at once. Okay, but everything which you've seen up till now, make sure to follow up everything and every step which I did, and also make sure to run these type of commands. Even if you change up, let's say instead of W, if you use M, then obviously try to use the same variable over here. Okay, make sure that every part of it is the same, because this, our Python command, is very case sensitive, or any language you use. So hope you understood everything in this class, and let's move on to our next class of Python for app development. And I'm also going to be showing you the layouts.